Revenge against my neighbor never felt so sweet. New neighbors moved in about 2 months ago, a young couple. The walls are paper thin and they love to blast music and sing really loud, but they sound horrible. Their bathroom is right against my bedroom wall, and they'll sing at the top of their lungs at 3 a.m. or when I'm in a Teams meeting. I've asked them if they could keep it down multiple times, but they just ignored me and called me an asshole for having a problem with them being happy and singing. Or told me to get a pair of noise-canceling headphones. I felt like they had no respect for their neighbors because the other guy next to them doesn't want to hear them screeching at the top of their lungs either. So yesterday I borrowed a pair of speaker towers from my buddy and pressed them against the wall facing the wall. Put it on full blast and started playing Bird is the Word on repeat from 8 a.m. sharp when there is no noise ordinance against noise. The wall even trembles. I definitely woke them up after their late night yesterday. Every time the song ends, I could hear them banging against the wall telling me to shut up. They came knocking on my door extremely pissed off, and I just told them, "What kind of asshole are you that you don't like music?" and slammed the door. I'll keep blasting Bird is the Word until 10 p.m. and start up at 8 a.m. sharp tomorrow. I'll then cool it and see if they stop screeching moving forward. Bad boyfriend takes the walk of ultimate shame. This happened about 16 years ago. My friend, let's call her Maria, had been dating a guy called Oscar for 2.5 years or so when she found out through the grapevine that Oscar had betrayed her. He'd been to a party, got a girl drunk, and slept with her. News of his actions has spread as gossip does. The worst part of it was that it seemed it wasn't the first time that it had happened by a long shot. Well, Maria heard and plotted revenge. She invited him to her flat for a special afternoon of fun with her and her friend Vanessa. Oscar could not resist temptation, so he went. Picture the scene. Goes into the building where she lives, gets into the lift to go up to the 10th floor to get to her apartment. He rings the bell. He can hear music playing from behind the door. She opens the door and he walks in and sees that both his girlfriend Maria, her friend Vanessa are there, each wearing sexy silk lingerie. Maria is holding a blindfold and tells him to wear it. He agrees and she puts it on him and tells him to strip naked. While he was busy, Vanessa put her clothes back on, walked out the apartment, leaving a doorstep to keep the door open, and called the lift. She then walked back in, grabbed Oscar's clothes, and threw them out the window into the car park below. She then left the apartment and went down the stairs, ringing doorbells as she descended. Maria had been leading Oscar around the apartment, disorienting him, and then led him out the apartment, closed the door behind her, and got in the lift alone, calling him an unfaithful asshole whose clothes are in the car park before the lift doors closed. Oscar ripped off the blindfold and must have realized how fucked he was, as he had to walk down 10 flights of stairs, butt naked, passing laughing neighbors all the way. He collected his clothes and Maria never saw him again.
Am I the asshole for telling my sister that she can find somewhere else to stay if she can't take seeing my daughter? I, 27 female, have a 5-year-old foster daughter named May. She has been with me for around 8 months now, and I love her to pieces. I'm considering adopting her even. My sister, 31 female, Kate, recently suffered a miscarriage, and it took a real toll on her marriage. She is getting divorced from her husband, and has been staying with me because she can't bear to live with him right now. Kate, however, has been a horrible guest to May. Every time May asks her for something, or talks to her, Kate will burst into tears or yell at her. Kate is a great sister to me, and I understand that she's grieving, but that doesn't mean she can lash out at May for simply existing. I've told her off multiple times for yelling at May, but it all came to a head when I confronted her this morning. May had asked Kate if she could move so she could get to the snack cabinet. Kate snapped at her to "Wait for a damn second, brat." I overheard her from the living room and made Kate move out of the way and told her to apologize to May. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that she can find somewhere else to stay if she can't take seeing my daughter? Kate burst into tears saying that she just couldn't take having May here as a reminder of what she's lost. I told her she is a grown adult and should know better than to bully a child for her own problems. I told May to go to her room real quick, and Kate and I got into a huge argument, and I ended up telling her if she couldn't take seeing my foster daughter, she could find somewhere else to stay. She left to our parents' house and told them everything. I've been getting messages from her all day now. She tells me I am a horrible sister and said that she was grieving and asked how I could put someone else's kid over hers, which I think is a disgusting thing to send to anyone. Personally, I think she's being insensitive to me and my daughter's relationship. According to my mom, she's been crying for hours and won't stop talking about how I'm such a monster for not thinking of her feelings. So am I the asshole? I just don't think she has a right to yell at my kid because she lost hers.
Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law off after she breastfed my daughter? Ew! How does a mother-in-law even breastfeed your daughter if she's not producing any milk? It's just like powdery. I, 35 female, have a beautiful baby girl who is 3 weeks old. Husband is a travel nurse and has recently left for another state again. My mother-in-law moved in with us prior to me being 6 months pregnant. She had a severe gambling addiction and got into heavy debt. My husband paid it off and unfortunately used half of his income. Her debt ate about a huge portion of our savings account. She would kiss my belly and say weird shit like, "How's my daughter doing in there? I can't wait to meet you. Hey little girl, if you act up, I'm gonna have to spank you." She then laughed it off like the sicko she is. When I gave birth, I wanted only me and my husband in the room, as this is one of the most vulnerable times of my life where my lady parts are going to be exposed and I'm going to experience the hell of labor. My mother-in-law screams and cries, calling me a bitch and saying I'm being inconsiderate. I never understood people who were so pushy on wanting to be in the room. Like, you guys need to give it up 100% to the mom. She picks and chooses. You're at her disposal. It is not up for discussion. I don't care. If my sister wants me there, I'll be there. Okay? If I want my sister there, she'll be there. If I don't want you there, you're not going to be there. It's simple as that. Like, no one's feelings should get hurt. It's literally the mom's body's going through that type of thing. Why do you think you have a say in it? I don't care if you're the grandma, mom, brother, sister, dad, cousin, brother, uncle, whatever you are. I tell her she won't be in, and that's final. Well, my baby girl arrives and I'm so darn happy. Shortly after maternity leave is over and I start work, my mother-in-law is now watching my baby girl. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I tried to take a nap and I woke up to my mother-in-law breastfeeding my daughter. I run downstairs and scream at my mother-in-law and take my daughter out of her arms. I told her what she did was disgustingly horrible, awful, and just generally was so out of line. My mother-in-law confesses that she had been lactating and has been doing tips for breastfeeding and they had worked. Wait, so your mother-in-law Googled how to make herself lactate? That is so fucking weird. I am pissed and generally grossed out. I tell her off and hours later I get a voicemail from my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law, and everyone in the family that what mother-in-law did was cute and that I was in the wrong. Who in their right mind, I don't care how old your mother-in-law is or how old grandma is, to be breastfeeding your kid. That is so weird. That is nasty. That's disgusting. Like, oh my God, stop.
I'm an asshole for asking my sister to fix her overgrown two-toned hair before my wedding. I'm 26 and my wedding is in 3 months. Both my sisters are my maids of honor. My wedding is going to be elegant and big, as the groom and I have had a lot of family and friends, and we've always dreamed of an extravagant wedding. I have a good relationship with both my sisters, however my younger sister has been a bit more difficult. I chose a light dusty pink for the color of the bridesmaid dresses and let the girls pick out whatever style. Immediately, my younger sister says she's going to feel insecure as she's so pale, and the dress would just make her look red. I suggested a spray tan, as the color of the dresses had already been set, and she said absolutely not. Didn't hear anything else about the dresses, but now I'm in another predicament. My younger sister highlighted her dark brown hair blonde for years, but decided about a year ago to grow it out to get it healthy, meaning no dye. A month or so in, her hair looked terrible, more like a balayage. And now we're around the year and the roots are straight up brown and there's a straight line. Absolutely no blending. My sisters insisted having her hair down. However, I don't want her roots on full display. I told her I'd pay for it to get it done, for it to at least get blended, and she said no. This day is the most important day of my life, and having someone's hair like that is not what I want at my party. So I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole for wanting to wear high heels at my wedding despite my fiance's objection. My fiance is short. His height has always been a source of insecurity for him, and he takes others' comments way too seriously. With our wedding approaching, he asked if I considered wearing flat shoes at the wedding. I was confused, like very confused. I asked if he was joking, and he just went on a rant on how he doesn't want to be made fun of at his own wedding. And if I choose to wear high heels, then we will look awkward in photos and in front of people. I refused, and he called me selfish and inconsiderate, and says that I prioritize bear of high heels over his comfort and happiness for the big day. He got his mom involved, and she started pushing me to reconsider, and when I refused to discuss it, that my unwillingness to cooperate is a huge indicator of my level of maturity. She then went on a long rant about the lengths of real wives are willing to do to help out their husbands, and that I'm apparently too mature and shallow to be committed in a marriage. Am I being selfish? It's not about what I want, but the high heels help me feel like I look better in my wedding dress. I deserve to look my best on my day. So, am I the asshole? I'm already slightly taller than him. I'm the asshole for not letting my daughter's boyfriend sleep over at our house. My daughter is 20 and is in college, and she stays at her boyfriend's house a lot, which my wife and I don't really like. We let her do whatever she wants, nonetheless. She pays her own tuition and works for all her own things. We just pay rent. We have a room for her and she does live with us. She asked if her boyfriend could sleep over too, so she would feel more comfortable staying at home more often. And we said absolutely not. She was upset because she said that it's her own room and she's been dating him for almost 3 years. We will just not allow it under our roof, and she's threatening to move in with him. We really want her to continue living here, but do not want them sleeping under our roof together. We have a pretty good relationship, so this is pretty hard on us. Here's an update. My wife and I discussed it a bit, and currently we are thinking we should put an air mattress next to her bed, but they have to leave the door a bit cracked. They also say it's hard changing their beliefs, and that she has been really disconnecting from them and not wanting to come around at all. So are they the asshole?